Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. In this video I will be showing you guys the 3-wheel setup. How to set up your RC drift car to 3-wheel. If you saw my RC drift front alignment archetypes video, I alluded to this setup. I showed this car in my caster jacking video. Now I'm going to give you guys a more detailed explanation of how to get your car to 3-wheel. How to get it to lift the trailing front tire during drift. So before I get into this, I must give credit where it's due. I am a secondary source here. The primary sources for this are a gentleman, a full-scale drifter in my state by the name of Joshua. His knee grows and he just wants to let you know. His Instagram, I'm not going to say it, I'll just put it on there. And then the other person that showed me this setup and kind of how it works is Ryan Cotto. He's a regular over at my local drift spot, Rolling Garage. And he's got a car that 3-wheels. So Josh's car 3-wheels like so aggressively that it'll start picking up the trailing tire immediately. Ryan Cotto's car 3-wheels in a way where it barely picks it up and it kind of bobbles. And what I wanted to go for was a car that 3-wheels only during weight shift and kind of smoothly, and then have it gently set the the fourth wheel back down, kind of like a sprint car, you know. So just have to point that out. I'm a secondary source. You know, those dudes are my primary sources, and this is my take on what I learned from them. So, without further ado, how to get your RC drift car to 3-wheel. First things first, you have to max out your caster. I did that by flipping my upper control arm and then spacing it all the way back so that at angle, the tire is extremely tilted over. That's where you get the jacking from that lifts the front. See, notice the level of the bottom of the tire? Now notice the level of the bottom of the tire. It's much lower. So that's going to lift the car. Okay? So that's called caster jacking. I explained that in my previous video. So the premise of these 3-wheeling cars is you're just maxing out your caster, maxing out the caster jacking effect. Another setting that assists with that is increasing your wheel offset and your wheel spacer. That will push it forward, jack it up more. So that's like the first thing that you must have to get your car to 3-wheel is a lot of caster. And then there's a couple things after that to solve a problem that gets caused. And then another thing to just make it really consistent. So in the front, I have no shocks. I just have a turnbuckle. And that is just so that the front just picks up instead of rolling over and distributing weight to this other tire. So if you have a suspension with, you know, droop and compression, instead of 3-wheeling, it's just going to drop this tire and roll the car, which will still actually give you a lot of the benefits of 3-wheeling without causing the problem that I'm about to explain, but then you don't get to see your tire, you know, in the air. Like, we're just doing this to look cool, not because it's the best way to set up your car. So anyway, yeah, you need no suspension up front, or just max out your front preload and then get the length right so that you just have no compression and no droop. That's what you need in the front. No compression, no droop. Be careful doing it with your shocks though, because like Ryan Cotto did that. He just maxed out his preload so that there was no compression, but there was so much tension in the thing that he accidentally dropped the car just a few inches and the whole front shocks exploded because there was just a ton of tension. Oh, you guys know what that sound is. Okay, I'm going to pause the video so that, actually, you know what? No, it adds to the vibe. We're going to have the Gens Ace charger beeping in the background. It adds to the vibe. Okay, so when the car jacks like this, puts weight cross to the rear tire in the back. Okay, like this one is getting all the weight. This one is barely any. So a problem that can cause is this one will actually lose all of the weight, and then you lose all of your lateral grip. See how it'll kind of teeter-totter? If it teeter-totters like that and this one loses all of its weight, you lose a ton of lateral grip and your car will spin out. So the way that you prevent that is spacers, or sorry, not spacers, but bump stops. I have a couple O-rings around the outer shaft on both of these as bump stops. So these can't fully compress, and as a result, they will basically allow this one to droop down and still maintain contact. So you're not like having one of the rear tires come up, because we don't want a 3-wheel where it's 2 in the front, 1 in the back. We want 2 in the back, 1 in the front. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you kind of got to tune your rear springs and shocks and everything to where you're not picking up tire in the back under any circumstance. And you do that with spacers and just playing with your preload and your rebound and whatnot. But that is the basics of a 3-wheel car. And then the last minor detail is these little pieces of tire tape, so that when you're at full lock, your tire that is getting picked up kind of stops and lets everybody know you're 3-wheeling. You know, you gotta fly that flag proud. So I'm gonna attach some footage of this car on the scale, and then I'm gonna give you some driving footage. Thank you for making it this far. Now let me show you what the 3-wheeling car looks like on the scales. This is the most extreme cross-jacked car. We're gonna put it on the scales. Okay, see the rears. Now I'm gonna turn it left. Look at that. That is insane. 500 grams. So there you have the like measured difference of how much weight is being transferred when you have a ton of caster. Hopefully that helps you better understand cross-jacking. Death by kitty litter box.